What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 21 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tyrion Immortal Empires expanded campaign. So as we saw last time, the war against the dwarfs is heating up. Caravans has joined the war against the Wood Elves and thus forcing us to be drawn into it and attempted to attack Marienburg, on which we were immediately able to... Ooh, this place is no longer plagueinated. Rebuild Lost Splendor, please. The attack on Marienburg failed, but Grim Ironwill has withdrawn to Caravans, and we will be going after him, well, as soon as we can get an army up there. We have ambushed and killed off Belagar and his army, though it does look like he still has two armies running around Athaloran, and it seems like the elves aren't willing to declare war on them either, because I did try to get them to join the war. It would be easier if they could, jump up there using the World Root stance and actually take those territories, but I'm not willing to give them 58,000 gold for it, because obviously that's insane. But I do wonder, if we were to join your war against, let's say, Clan Scryer, that's worth 8.6. That plus that would be 10,000. A lot more manageable. Not for right now, because the rats would immediately attack these relatively undefended territories here, but at the same time, it's certainly something we'll look forward to doing. We will need to send armies down here as well. Alright, well, that's coming. Anyway, the other thing that happened is Kugeth has arrived, 2 full stacks marching, and he is in march stance, so this may be the best time to take advantage of it and try to attack him. As to whether we can win with a, an incomplete fire army stack plus this stack, let's just say that remains to be seen. I think maybe we'll start with this, in fact. Between the episodes, I did decide to give the Gem of Sunfire and the Vambraces of the Sun, the 2 sort of fire army things that we were going to put into this army, to Zbaran for now. Eventually, they will be given to a Mage of Fire. We just do not yet have a Mage of Fire to give them to. I would like to... You know what? I generally avoid putting 2 regiments of renown in one army, but the Fireborn would be a pretty ideal unit to have here. And again, they do cause Searing Flame, which we may eventually get access to via Wood Elf units, but don't otherwise have any access to in our faction. So I think perhaps we'll get the Fireborn. And admittedly, the Dragon Princes, even the Fireborn are basically completely fire resistant, but the regular Dragon Princes are still going to be fairly fire resistant, unless I'm mistaken. Let's see here. Yeah, they still got a solid 25% fire resistance. Phoenix Guard, on the other hand, none whatsoever. So while thematically the Phoenix Guard makes sense for a fire army, because of the fire resistance, Dragon Princes would make more sense, although this will be a very eclectic set of units. Again, the Silvern Guard are here temporarily, and the same with the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. I wonder if we can get some kind of fire-based artillery that isn't guns. I guess we could borrow Lizardman Solar Engines, or... Oh, actually, that also reminds me, I was about to say, or... Manling...
Can I offer assistance?
Let's see, Golden Order. Now, Luminarchs. We should be able to access Luminarchs now from somebody. Reichland, yes. Luminarchs for Teclis. He loves those humans, and he taught them this. Well, I mean, not Luminarchs in particular, but the whole Colleges of Magic thing, so we may as well put some majory stuff from them into his army. Anything interesting from Visenland and Nullen? Not much gunnery stuff. Alright, we'll go to Cathay maybe for more stuff. But for now, though, let's deal with this issue. Ooh, actually, no. Before we deal with this issue, let's do one of the blurbs. We got several last time. We'll start with Toranrock. What had once been a glorious fastness, the sunken city of Toranrock is little more than a skeleton, its high towers smashed and its walls sundered during the Elven Civil War. Only broken stubs of lost towers remain, jutting from storm-lashed waters like the fingers of a drowning victim. With each passing year, more succumbs to erosion, collapsing below the waves. Lost to history are the Lord of Toranrock and his sons. None speak of them now for fear of one's thoughts becoming moribund. Ghostly winds blow over the watchtower of Tor Anrock, a tall spire of dark rock rising from the city ruins. From its peak, it is not uncommon to see a shimmering, misty haze over the ocean. From the tallest peak of this watchtower on this desolate, forgotten island, Asur still keep watch over the horizon, guardians of a magical beacon used to warn Ulthuan of approaching hostile forces. Said beacon lies within a chamber below the tapered Merlin of the tower's summit, the stairs cut into the floor leading to a sconcelet stairwell. A magically locked and reinforced door of white timber blocks further passage from reaching the landing, requiring a password to open. Yet inside, the glowing blue orb of the warning beacon pulsates, awaiting activation. And there it is. Alrighty. Well, now that we've done that, hopefully we don't need a Shrine of Remembrance for our fire army, because I'm going to hope that they survive. Anyway, let's get the Fireborn on field. This will actually get another blurb, which we will do. Oh, it's a super short blurb. Well, you know what? They're about to fight. So, as royal bodyguards of the ruling prince of Calador, the noble Imric, the Fireborn are the finest knights in a kingdom rightly famed for its peerless mastery of war. Their shields bear the image of Andrognir, the legendary dragon that bore Anarion to battle, an honor bestowed upon them by Imric himself after they slew the great bloodthirster Gorecleaver and led the charge that shattered the dread legion of Skalthrak the Slaughterer. Alright. How many of the Slaughterers are there? That's the third the Slaughterer we know of. There's a Scrag and Azag, and now there's Skalthrak. Everybody's the Slaughterer, apparently. I kinda made this joke when we were, when we got Skulltaker. How many Khornates are likely to be trying to vie for the name Skulltaker out there? Anyway, there's a bar on here.
Seeking a trial.
Seeking a trial, eh? You're about to find one. Alright, then, you will need to march stance? Yes. You'll need to march stance and deliver these troops here. Like so.
Destiny does not favor us.
Destiny? Did you just say destiny does not favor? Why would you say that? We're about to why would you say that? What is wrong with you? No. Destiny favors us, damn it. Anyway, we have... I think we gotta get rid of one of the Silverin Guard. We do admittedly have a lot of range units, but we have no other artillery, and we have a full army of, well, trash mostly, but nonetheless. Go here. I don't think you'll be able to reinforce, but maybe. I don't really care what you do, admin, but... Alright, and I assume you can pass through these guys? Yes. The other thing is we will want to level. So you... Oh, you're not at these yet. Unfortunate. I mean, I guess we could just get to Retinue Valet, just because... Oh, but you're not... Oh, no, it is own characters in region. Alright, fine, let's just get that, then. It's not much, but it's something. Admin does not... Well, technically need to level. Get you Elven Scholar, nonetheless. And then, before you attack Fergal... And... Huh. Didn't this army get damaged last battle? And aren't they not supposed to recover? None of your units will replenish. How did they replenish then? Odd. I swear they were hurt previously. Oh, I don't know. The other thing is, because this is going to be probably rather tough, what we're going to do is this. Champion of Ulthuan. Alliances. And Dragon Scorch. Right here. And who? Okay, there's not enough Nurglade Corruption to help them, but yes, a Dragon Scorch. The target armor suffers 30 damage. I actually have no idea what that means, but battle healing cap minus 50% is what we're after here, since we're fighting Nurglides. The 150 influence is a very, very steep price, and I would really prefer to get another patronage, but this will potentially break the Nurgle faction, at least until we are much closer towards the Dragon Isles, so I think it's necessary. We will Dragon Scorch Mr. Kugath Plaguefather and prevent him from healing. I'm interested to see what this 30 damage means exactly. Plus, that is the 12th use of the ability, which gives us the short victory. The control we no longer care about, but hero capacity is always nice, and character experience gain plus 10% is always nice as well. Obviously, we could have done that at any time, but I preferred to use the influence on getting new troops and other things that were of equal or more importance. Anyway, Fergal, we've no choice but to attack with you, sir. And speed for spellcaster doesn't help us here. Experience for spellcasters, yeah, none of this really helps here. Yeah. And Noble Prestige doesn't help because you will not level anyway. Alright, so you will be the one to attack Kugath. It will mean we won't be able to get his defeat rate, alas. You can't reach him, Zubaran, so yeah.
Always.
But it's the only choice we have.
Forward at once.
Let's see how we do. Pyrrhic victory. And them both being in March stance and being Dragon Scorched is good for us, but it is Kugath, and this army means nothing to him, essentially. So let's hope that the fiery units can deal with him. I guess we're about to find out. Should be a great fight, however. Go.
Understood. We are defending.
Alrighty, understood, we'll see. You will command the militia while the fire army hopefully burns the enemy down. Here we stand against the combined might of several armies under Kugath Plaguefather, who is awaiting the reinforcements of a full stack led by a demon prince, as well as the garrison, such as it is, of the enemy. Should be a good time, and we fight under corrupted Nurglite skies, so I'm not seeing a lot of sort of Nurglite flora and fauna around, so perhaps the place is not quite as corrupted as it could yet be. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off with our Illyrian Reaver archers annoying the enemy, using their anti-large arrows to draw out the chariots of Nurgle, as well as a unit of plague toads as well. The plan being to hide our units of Illyrian Reavers in the forest, to draw these guys forward, then surround them with the anti-large Illyrian Reavers, the regular, not the archers, and then hopefully kill them off before Kugath can react in any significant way. Oh, we got a little... Oh, I thought it was a cave entrance. Huh. Also kind of reminds me of one of the sort of places where you have the giants in Skyrim. But anyway, we have got the Chaos Chariots, not so much on the ropes as yet, as they are fairly heavily armored, but certainly surrounded and are unlikely to get out of there. The damage isn't super high on the Illyrian Reaver regular units, but I'm sure they can tear apart a single unit of chariots and a single unit of plague toads, especially as they can't escape and as the anti-large arrows of their archer brethren rain down upon them. Plus, we have 2 or 3 more units coming in as reinforcements than we do available on the map, as in out of 40 units. And the last 2 units that will make their way onto the battle map will be the artillery pieces. So, in that light, we may actually want to get a couple of those Illyrian Reavers off the battle map a little bit sooner so that artillery can arrive to help out beforehand. That would be just lovely. And by the looks of it, the chariots are out of the picture, shattered and pretty much destroyed, and frankly the plague toads of Nurgle are in no better shape. It does, however, seem that a plague ridden has led a unit of plague drones with death's heads into the fray, and they're being backed up by some pox riders, quite a bit stronger than just the plague toads. On top of that, it looks like the plague ridden has a bound ability. I don't know if this is from an item or if this is just something he has from a trade or something, but he pops off a flame storm in the midst of our Illyrian Reavers, which are going to have to do their best to back off. In the meantime, though, he will back off and give chase to the Illyrian Reaver archers, who are going to block him off with the summoned Great Eagles, especially since I wanted to see whether the summoned Great Eagles have the summoned trait, and indeed they do. So 60 seconds until they're off field, so we may as well just do our best to block the enemy off as much as possible, and then to allow those eagles to melt away, sad though it may be. Our main army has arrived, including our quick-moving reptilians. Here we have the ancient salamanders and the sun dragons, who want to get their dragon breaths off cooldown on cooldown as fast as possible. So we're going to get a couple of fire dragon breaths through the ranks of advancing plague bearers, and then return to our main line. Same thing with the salamanders, and getting off a few of those blasts of theirs into whatever units they can, plague toads and other monstrous infantry this time around, and then backing off towards where more fireworks will help clear the enemy out. There we go, some regular salamanders and Sisters of Avalorn, and now doing their best to pincushion whatever enemies they can. And by the looks of it, this is going to be a pretty great fight. And what is this? Whatever it is, I'm not sure we're gonna like it. Ooh, it's a Blight Boil. This poor unit of spears is dead unless I'm mistaken. That's a full HP unit of spears, or it was. Let's see how much HP they have after this. And there we go, and basically completely annihilates the unit, about 90% of its HP gone, just like that, but all good. Now this is why we have 2 lines of spears, one after another, as the sort of the vanguard, the militia. Then behind them we have the units of Silver and Guard, who will only join the fight once the regular spears are spent. It will allow our range units to fire upon the enemy for hopefully a decently long time. We're going to start the battle off by pincushioning as best we can the enemy big units. There's Uncle Furuncle moving on in, as well as the spawn of Nurgle and the Plague Toads and whatnot, while the Plague Ridden gets focused down by our 2 dragons and absolutely torn apart, actually having reached its healing cap rather quickly, most likely thanks to the Dragon Scorch that we used on the enemy army. Down goes the Plague Ridden. Uncle Furuncle continues to move on in, and the Demon Prince is moving in to back him up. But now that Uncle Furuncle has reached the range of the Sisters of Avalorn and the Talons of Torcalida, we will fire upon it. It is not immune to contact effect, so it is banished, and it is flammable, and it is having a very bad day. Like so, and so falls Uncle Furuncle. Unfortunately for us, as soon as Uncle Furuncle disappears, a greater gate of Nurgle opens, and a second exalted, or a second irregular unclean one, makes its way onto the battlefield just as the Demon Prince touches down on our main line. Unfortunately for the Demon Prince, we were waiting for this, and our Fireborn Dragon Princess, together with both of the dragons, move towards it, where hopefully they will be able to surround the Demon Prince and prevent its escape while dishing out all that damage. The Dragon Prince is working nicely together with the dragons, I'm sure, and allowing the Talons of Torcalida, or actually I think it was just a regular High Elf archer with heavy arrowheads unit, to escape. Like so. Alrighty, otherwise, the enemy army continues to advance towards us. We do send the Illyrian Reavers to annoy the enemy, including Kugath a little bit more, and summon the Eagles once more, which distract him for about 50 seconds before running out of HP, but they're going to disappear in 10 seconds anyway, so it hardly matters. Searing Doom comes down for a Myra caster, and the fireworks continue to fly as the Sisters of Avalorn and our units of Salamanders continue applying their fiery damage to the enemy. Ooh, big old blob of enemies. There we go. Gonna hit him with a nice dragon breath, and this time, and plenty of damage, taking about half HP from one unit of Exalted and one unit of regular Plague Bearers. And very, very nice. And it looks like the Demon Prince is just about out, down to about 10% of his HP. Gets hit with a Plague of Rust to make sure that the damage is increased even further. Surrounded by the Fireborn, and brought down at long last. And the dragons had to move away as they needed to get their ability on cooldown once again. Kugath, of course, continues raining down fire upon our line. He's dealt about 18k damage, pretty darn solid, and by the looks of it, has sent several units packing already. Fortunately, with the Spearmen Militia at the front of the army, we are able to dish out a little bit of friendly fire damage to them, without having to worry about damaging the Silveren Guard, who, by and large, are still waiting. Our Dragonborn move on in to join the melee as well, quickly clearing out some Nurglings, but we're using their mass to help out, rather than moving towards the enemy line. We could probably do a little bit of cycle charging with them here, but I don't know. In this particular case, I wanted the battle to kind of proceed as it is, without having to look too far away, because this is a pretty fantastic fight. Biggest fight of the campaign so far. I think that is undoubted. Ooh, another volley from those Exalted Plague Bearers. They have been focusing down our dragons this entire time with their precursor weapons, or I guess they're not precursor weapons, just regular weapons, special ranged weapon. And it looks like both dragons are below half HP now and are going to have to be backed off a little bit to where the range units cannot target them. Fortunately for us, though, the enemy is starting to run out of range units, even as our own basic spear militia line is collapsing, and the Silverin Guard are moving to take their place. Fortunately, it's working quite well for us. As a unit backs off as well, that means we are able to drop a spell on the enemy, and the combined Searing Doom, as well as the, well, Searing Doom brought by the spit of those salamanders, brings yet another unit of Plague Bearers down. With that, it looks like the army losses have forced the enemy to lose morale, and only the slowly advancing stragglers of the enemy army remain, soon to be brought down by all that fire damage. And of course, Kugath is still fighting, still probably firing away his darn range attacks, or he lobs Nurglings at us. Quite effectively so, up to 25k damage now. And even with Banishment upon him, it will take a long time to bring him down. Banishment upon him and the minus 50% healing that he surely has from something. Oh, and he's immune to contact effects, so we won't be able to debuff him. What we will be able to do is get a couple of Fire Dragon Breaths upon him. Not the most effective, as the Fire Dragon Breath is meant for blobs of units, rather than for single entities like this. If these were Star Dragon Breaths, Kugath would probably be below half HP. But it was a really cool shot, so I wanted to do it just because we could. And now it's just a matter of time as everybody advances towards Kugath. Our artillery now on the field firing away, and admittedly they have been firing throughout the battle a little bit, but primarily trying to focus down enemy monstrous infantry and stuff. Here come the salamanders once again. Irregular ones first, as the ancient salamanders actually have pretty much run out of ammunition all the way back there. Now, they are a little bit light on ammunition, I do admit, though all of our other units do still have plenty of ammo. Well, maybe around half of their ammo. Well, it's still pretty solid. That said, ancient salamanders are so incredibly strong in SFO. And gotta make sure not to spam them. In fact, ancient salamanders are tier 3 compared to fire dragons, which are tier 5, but I would take an ancient salamander over a fire dragon most of the time. They're almost like an iron blaster. They're fast-moving artillery-like and do a lot of damage to pretty much anything they hit. They can go for single targets, they can go for blobs, they apply that damage over time, and then once their ammunition is spent, they act fairly well as monsters. But I digress. Salamanders being amazing aside, Kugath melts away under fire at long last, and with that, this particular battle is ours. A Pyrrhic victory and an absolutely magnificent fight. Ooh, free razor standard. Anyway, there we go. A Pyrrhic victory, certainly a tough fight. Even with Dragon Scorch upon him, Kugath remains an obnoxiously strong lord, getting 28,000 damage against us, and that's with us repeatedly summoning eagles to prevent him from firing for a decent amount of time. And of course that meant not using the eagles elsewhere, but when you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, our dragons did take some damage, but they did, well, roughly Kugath levels of damage, 29k and 28k. Our Fireborn rather, Dragon Princes, have managed to beat everybody with 33k damage, and similar sorts of action on the Sisters of Avalorn with 32 to 34,000 damage apiece, 17 to 33k on the Salamanders, and 36 to 35 on the Ancient Salamanders. Interesting. Everybody in this army is effectively, well, you know, the non-fodder units, getting between 30 and 35,000 damage. Pretty neat. 45,000 damage for Zabaron, our caster. Would have been really helpful to have Kindle Flame, but we're waiting for a fire caster with the appropriate trait. And of course, the damage isn't really significant from, well, 11k on you. Not too significant, let's say, from the militia / fodder army, but we use them to great effect in terms of, well, acting as fodder, keeping the main stack effectively unharmed, with the exception of the dragons, who the AI just loves to focus with everything they can, yeah, feeding the enemy the fodder in order to do damage here. We will take, I guess the money. These guys are going to disappear anyway. Although I guess this is the only way that we heal them, and it sounds like we really need the money. Yeah, I'm going to say forced labor, actually. I lied. Alright, enemy killed in battle. Yeah, this would have been great to pick up on everybody else, especially the chance of plague spreading thing, because we're gonna get plagueinated. Though the other stuff is... Alright, victory over Nurgle. Hey, another lion standard for our lion armies, because it feels appropriate. Edmund Jornadar, you got a griffin. No, wait. You know what? While you're here and not admitting, maybe you can keep the griffin. Glittering Scales, nice pickup as well. Lovely. Then we will use, I suppose, you to take the Temple of Kamau. And can you reinforce if we march stance? Yeah, we can't march stance. Well, that's disappointing. Alright, then stay in your current stance in order to heal up more. And in fact, assuming that we keep you, we will still want hawkish precision on the Everqueen's court guards. So we will do this and this, and then leave the 3 points in order to replenish troops and max that out, hopefully, for more healing. Beautiful.
Student of Teclis.
Yeah, student of Teclis. Fergal, take this with not a resolve. Alright, and Temple of Kamau is going to go for Bashiva. Hello, Talan Pavis. This is a nice pickup. I don't remember who I wanted this for, but I do remember that I wanted it, so that's a nice one. A little bit unfortunate that elves don't have any kind of equivalent armor. Yeah, City of Spires is where we're on the way to. Big ol' the Starlock or whatever. I guess it's supposed to be a Nurglite kind of thing, but anyway. Anyway, do we have... No, alright, I'm just looking for army presence. None here. And military presence here, there's one, so presumably they will get a new lord up and running in the Dragon Isles. Though funnily enough, once we take the City of Spires, we'll have to watch out for coastal assaults and land assaults. So most likely we'll have to leave a temporary army there, but this way, in our current state, let's also build this up, I guess. I mean, we were fully intending to trade all of this to Bashiva, and Himaranya being very much out of the way in the mountains will be a very nice place for her to not get killed. Though, but it looks like she did actually manage to send Tamarkan back. Kind of surprises me. But this place did not get sacked, so I guess they didn't defeat him either. Maybe he just withdrew because he thought he couldn't win. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that was a magnificent fight. Anyway, let's see what else we got. Tyrion, buddy. You are going to Noble Prestige and you're going to besiege Harganeth with Crone Helebron and her many Charybdises. Charybdi? I assume it's Charybdises. Like so. And, ooh. 2 dragons, 2 black dragons, 2 war hydras, 3 Charybdises, 4 Harganeth executioners, 3 cold 1 dread knights, Crone Helebron. Yes. I think Tyrion will actually have a proper challenge of a fight for him. Who knows? He might even lose. Let's see. You, sir, are going to go for Blade Shield. It's Caradrin. You, Vanola. I mean, I guess we could go through... Oh, right, we were going through the Student of the White Tower for the cooldowns. I mean, you know what? Let's actually get the second point in common of Casandor. Wait, with our Chain Lightning, rather. Or whatever I got. Whatever I got is what we wanted to get. Trust. Anyway, no, well, you can have the Ward of Hoeth. I don't think the enemy has a caster, but in case they do, yeah, there is a fire caster here. Well, it was death casters I was really concerned about, which they don't have, but, well, it's too late now. Anyway, Tyrion, keep moving. You know what? Against the Dark Elves, I feel like we should grab Ward of Hoeth. On the other hand, the faster we get Feint and Riposte, the more... Yeah, fine. Fine. I like the ability to have that as an explosion effect, because that will be, well, it'll come in handy. Anyway, oh, also, before I forget, between the episodes, I did get the SFO variant of the Warband upgrade mod. Which... Ogre Hungerers. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, wouldn't think that we would get Ogre Hungerers there, considering they're a Scrag unique unit. But anyway, yeah, this will enable us to, in theory, upgrade those of our units that reach the heights of rank 8 to Exalted variants, which will be a little bit easier than than just re-recruiting them. And frankly, as we've seen, we can recruit anything we want at rank 9.
Lady of the
Just like this. So, while we can do that, it feels like the units that have earned their stripes probably will want to just straight up be upgraded to exalted variants, like you two, for example. Although the last time I did that, they both got hurt. So maybe we should attack first before doing that. But anyway, let's do this in order. Alistair, how you doing, buddy? You were going to go to Nagenhof. I don't like the fact that you're peeling further and further away from here. I wanted you to move southward and help against Belagar, admittedly. But I guess fighting one dwarf is much the same as fighting another. I guess you're going to Nagenhof then. Ooh, wait. You should have completed your... Yes, you did. Your jet line. Meaning, take the jet line, lose the... I guess Eagle Claw? It was never supposed to be in this army anyway. And then the Eagle will be replaced by the last unit. The fact that you have a Noble bothers me a little bit, because we could use the magical damage out of this... I may eventually replace one of the jet lions with a lore master. Maybe, we'll see. For now, though, auto resolve. And occupy. We don't care for the territory. We'll trade it to the Empire well, eventually. Cadrill. How are we doing out here? So Luther Harkin is moving this way, and... Oh, looks like Gorok should be able to take the remains of his faction. I wonder if that means we can leave. Oh, actually, Cadrill, I did want to, before I forget, while it should technically be upgraded to an Exalted Sea Guard, you will want to... For Watchers. Should I upgrade one of the named ones? Alright, you. Become a shield... I guess you have to upgrade to a shield guy and then become a gate guard. I guess we could retrain you and leave these guys as they are. And then see if you can eventually become an Exalted Gate Guard, which is what we really want. Technically speaking, this Cadrill wasn't ever supposed to have a Lothern Sea Guard army per se. So, oh, actually. What we could do is, in theory, upgrade these two Lothern Sea Guard all to Gate Guard, and then these guys to Exalted Sea Guard. I mean, let's face it, these guys have probably gotten the most fighting out of everybody that isn't in Tyrion's army. Cadrill has done a lot of work, and they have kind of earned it. Plus, we have like 1 million capacity of the Exalted Sea Guard. Plus, as I recall, they're not actually all that different from regular Sea Guard. The only difference is they have Unbreakable and a little bit of extra... Oh, their melee damage is the same, but more armor piercing. I think they've earned it in this army. I hope their names don't disappear. It will be sad if they are, because I'm... Oh, I'm just gonna... There we go. And no, they've kept their names. Good. And the Sea Guard, you have to be rank 8, but you actually have to earn it. I will maybe make these guys Gate Guard as well, but I will consider it. Because then we have Sea Guard, then Gate Guard, and then Archers, which isn't too bad. We can do 2 regular Gate Guard, 1 Exalted Gate Guard. And it's, just because I was going to do Sea Guard in another more Sea Guard-centric army, because Cadrill doesn't technically buff them. Yeah. Anyway, I will think about that. We could give chase to Luther Harkin in case these guys don't win. I was going to send Cadrill around to deal with the Slaneshi, or oh, good lord. Yeah, we should probably help the Cathans out, or the Slaneshi will overrun them. Plus, we want to get Great Turtle Island. Cadrill's a good option to pick that up. So, Cadrill, you have no chance against her, Luther. Although, oh, hello. They get Captain Drekla as a hero rather than as an... I think Luther Harkin gets him as an ancillary, doesn't he? I don't remember. Neat. Anyway, you are going to go here. Like so. And we'll see. Who knows, they might react to this. I'm not going to bother leveling these guys. Also, you have the... Alright, you have the Enchanted Spyglass. You're supposed to have the Enchanted Spyglass, so that's fine. This is all fine. Minus one thing. This particular Lore Master, I think... I was wondering whether I should send you to Teclis with the Battle, Healing, Captain, Casualty, Replenisher, and Trade. I mean, let's check if we get another healer. On the other hand... no dice on the healers, eh? Fruitful is also the same amount of growth for all provinces, so it's actually a good option as well. Anyway, I was wondering whether we should put you into Annalise's army. I do like the Miss Mage in here, but again, we will run into the issue. You know what? I did want the Lichbone Pennant on the big boy. Also, still haven't decided who to give the Perfect Vigor to here, but I feel like it should be a Regiment of Renown. I gotta double check. Do the Dragon Princes, do the Fireborn have that? Nah, the Fireborn should have the Banner of Swiftness. And this regeneration we could probably put on a Lord. On the other hand, now you already have, now your regeneration... Yeah, you already have regeneration, so that wouldn't be for you. This army needing magical damage. We have one Lichbone Pennant. The Herbalists have to go on to the ranged units, generally speaking. I just like the fact that they can, you know, fire ranged poison attacks. And I don't care about the standards of discipline, to be perfectly honest. Although I guess we could put them on something like ship's companies, something that's inclined to get wrecked by stuff. Yeah. Just double checking if there's anything else that we need to apply right now. Banner of Illyrian and Visor to the King, both are fine. The Razor, well, we just got the Razor Standard. Man, still no Banner of Swiftness, eh? That's, come on game. Anyway, you. Trade. Give her the Noble. And I was going to take the Handmaiden out of this army because, technically speaking, well, the Noble is for this army. You will be at 23 out of 20. That's too much. Wait. These... Okay, take these guys out for now. Give me a moment. I was going to put 2 Silver Helms in this army, but... Perhaps... If we do another Exalted Silverin Guard... Maybe the Silver Helms would be too much. Because we already have 1 billion Lothern Skycutters. Granted, we could cut down on the Skycutters, but Silak shares the traits with the Chariots. What's the highest level? You. You know what? I'm gonna Silverin Guard you up, buddy. Like so. I think we'll forgo the... Silverin Guard, please. We'll forgo that. And then whenever one of you reaches rank 8... Oh, you don't need to be rank 8. Oh, because Silverin Guard are basic and we can already build like 1 million of them. Which is fine. Let's do that. Alright, there we go. I think I like that more. Maybe I should have gone for 4 regular and 2 exalted. Whatever, too late now. Again, for the basic units, I don't really care just because they're basic units anyway. No need to overdo it, so we'll just keep the 2 regulars as regulars. You, what kind of trait do you have? You have Honed. Yes. This does apply to Silverin Guard, which I believe was the original reason that I put you in here, but otherwise, there isn't really any units that you would benefit too much in this particular army, so I think you're fine as you are. You are going northward, then. By fine as you are, I meant you can go into Sandrina's army. Wait. Or, wait, who else has honed stuff? You do, don't you? Nashanra? You have... No, you have 2 crushing. I swear I got a honed... Oh, wait, unless you're honed. Yeah, you're honed. Okay, yeah, we'll go with Sandrina then. Is it some... Yeah. Anyway, ooh, Lothern. Upgrade. Alright, getting distracted by stuff, but 1 turn and then we'll have the tier 5. Lovely. Also Recruiter Man, just so I don't forget you. Go here. We need... Like so. We need... Silver Helms. And lots of them. How many? I am not entirely sure. We can't do Dragon Princes as yet. Ooh, we could do a couple of Moon Dragons. We already have a couple of Sun Dragons in a different army, but a couple of Moon Dragons would not be amiss. Maybe now's a decent time to build a couple. It was why I kept the... Yeah, fine. That's why I kept that building here. Let us do... so the lances are armor-piercing. They have no bonus versus large. We do have the... And they both have shields, eh? But the sword Silver Helms can stick in combat a little bit more. So I'm gonna say... Let's do this for now. It depends on how much we have room for. I also wanted to grab a couple of Great Stag Knights, either for this army or possibly for Parthenia's army. Could also give her some wild riders with some wood elf cavalry to mix in with our own cavalry. Maybe 1 or 2 dragon princes, although if that feels like too much, I'm not entirely sure. Also, we are 105 move speed on the Illyrian Reavers. These guys are a fair bit slower. Let me just see here. Do we have access? Do we actually have access to wild riders? We have Sisters of the Thorn, which I freaking love. And would spam them, but it would feel obnoxious. And yeah, no, it doesn't look like we have access to the Wild Riders yet. Unfortunately. We have the Acolytes of Ursun, though I don't think in this particular army. I wonder if we could put the things in the woods in one of our armies. Maybe with some Shadow Warriors? I don't know. I definitely want the Snow Leopards and the Frost Worms. It's the main thing I wanted Kislev for, but otherwise we'll have to, we'll just have to think. There'll be a lot of options, though. Anyway, just do this for now, and then we'll deal with it later as we figure out what that army wants to look like. Anyway, Leoquin, and you guys don't need to be in this army. This I like the either. Alright, so you're fine. Alariel, you're in the same position as Sandrina. These sea elementals are for Alariel. They were recruited for her, and they should be transferred to her. Like so.
Gladly.
Alright.
The gods.
And I don't think anything else in here is part of Alariel's army, as I recall, so we will leave it at that for now. Bellinaire. I guess since Coril is down here, we're going to have you go deal with Hugrim Ironwill here. Frankly, it doesn't really seem to matter which way we travel. I'm going to say this way. Actually, you know what? I'd rather not travel to the mountain pass, so let's go this way. And then Admin Avalorosas, you were going to deliver this handmaiden to somebody. She is rank 20 after all. I don't think Nashanra needs it. Yeah, she already has 2. Actually, speaking of Nashanra, you go this way. We will deliver the last of these units, which puts you at 20 out of 20 minus the mage, because we'll need to get rid of one of the units. There we go. I was going to give the Scions of Mathland to a seagoing army because they're the Scions of Mathland. And also, again, this also feels like maybe too many spears. Granted, I will think about it. Might remove a couple for something else that we want to put in here. It's a lot of spears. Anyway, Admin Tifian, I guess you could land at the Citadel of Lead if you really wanted to. Or the Isle of Wights, because it has... Yeah, it's closer to a port, so you can just go here. Alrighty. We'll keep you there for now. Yorian and Erathon and Co. This is a mysterious island, so you can just go and grab this mushroom stew, please. Mathland's blessing, I certainly hope so. And keep moving this way. You're also waiting for additional troops. We should really have somebody recruit stuff for you. How's that recruiting? 2 more turns on you? Yeah, I was gonna move down here. We could just buy Troll Fjord and complete this province, but I'm still not entirely sure whether I want to keep it or not, so we'll leave it as it is for now. We'll get the Hawk Riders. I don't see Erathon really easily losing, so he can just keep moving. Alright, and then Nashanra, you're gonna help out against here. You're a punitive one with all those Shadow Warriors, so you should be fighting some Dark Elves, since we can't rely on these idiots to actually be fighting Dark Elves as they're supposed to. Anyway, Corhill. I do believe we have 2 things to do for you. So first of all, Carthinia, go to Waterfall Palace, which again looks really cool on this map. And then we will move you just past Waterfall Palace there, Corhill. Like... so. I'll have you reinforce. Quickly take this. I assume nobody will die. Now we're getting... wow, okay, actually more of those died than they should have, but anyway. Occupy. Like so. Arguelon, we are not keeping you, but... whatever. Alright, Corel. You... oh, you actually can't well, actually you can, but they'll run. Nonetheless. Nonetheless, send them down here. Let's see where they go. Can they walk past us to Waterfall Palace? They cannot. Corhills stay here, channel, I guess. We'll either chase them, they may try to run away, and who knows, maybe we'll intercept them. And then we'll give Waterfall Palace back to one of the Wood Elves in hopefully short order. Alright, and I do mean short order. because it was taken by the dwarves. Anyway, Sarah, you, sir, are going to go right to the edge of this province, actually. Well,
Princess of the Asur.
yeah, I need to get to Rothgar's Spire. You're also only temporarily holding the stuff. You, Agiella. Who is Agiella again? Fire Mage. Oh, you're not supposed to go into this army. You are supposed to go past this army, and you're supposed to join these armies when Hinarmara returns to resume command of the Chariot army. Oh, I also should have done a blurb. All right, let's do a blurb, and then let's continue. You, admin, to transfer, like so. Alright, it's not a full stack for Sarah, but it should be sufficient. I did want to get you a couple of... Oh, you know what? We will want a couple of Swords Masters for you. Just a couple, I think. However, we won't have access to them yet. And I want a couple of Mareworms for you, but we can't recruit Mareworms yet, but we will soon be able to. 2 Mareworms, 2 Swords Masters, a Mage, a Noble, and a Sword Master. Maybe 2 nobles for the additional missile resistance for the ship's companies. That should be nice, I think. Alright, we'll deal with it when we get to it. Anyway, let's do the next blurb, whichsoever it may have been. Monolith of Bjorkil bloody-handed. You know what, I'm gonna think we're gonna leave the Norscan ones alone, because this is just describing it, and I think there will be many other campaigns where we take stuff in Norscan. I don't want to read every single settlement in a single campaign, you know? Marienburg Port. I mean, this one we could read, because we already started reading the first sort of entry for it when we took it. Alright, Marienburg is a city of islands, bridges and canals, considered to be the largest trading hub in the Old World. The city itself rises from the fetid swamp that typifies the wasteland, that gloomy march between the impenetrable Drakvald forest and the immense Pale Sisters, with the regular rains, sucking mires, and the strange breed of peasants that make their living trawling the dark waters of the countryside. Reaching the grand city can sometimes be a feat in and of itself. The canals are Marienburg's highways, crowded with boats of all kinds. The largest is the Reichsweg, the main channel of the River Reich, which bisects the city and along which most ships pass. Surrounding Marienburg, like a mother sheltering her children in her arms, is the Great Wall of the Vlodmur. This is the city's main protection against the dangers of flooding from the sea and against the possibility of attack from any side. It runs for miles around the perimeter of Marienburg, built on the foundations of the walls of the old Sea Elf fortress. Here, ramparts of stone, great round towers face the entrance of the Reich, known as the Stromport Gate. If under attack, the city guard can raise huge chains that have been laid across the bottom of the channel, stalling the passage of any invading fleet while they are bombarded with cannon fire and fire-hurling catapults from above. Sounds fun. Tremendously fun. Who's next? Alrighty, we just moved Sarah and Elise. You've got your stuff. These guys have to be replaced with... Oh, we don't have access to the Exalted variants yet, but in 2 turns we will. And now the question is, where do we send you? And the main reason this being a question, because... I'm going to assume these guys can deal with them. We could try to send you around, as in this way. Probably by sea, though. Actually, it wouldn't be much faster by the looks of it. Actually, it might be faster to cross by land. Or you could just follow Kadril. The other option would be to go down here and help against the Bloody Hands, or possibly move up here to help against the Rats. I did say I wanted an army up here for 2... Oh! Ashok the Bloody. Somewhat concerning. Wait. Adminitus, can you take this?
It shall be done.
Maybe. You got some elite units. You'll take damage, but we're immune to attrition for 1 more turn, so this is a decent time to do it. Alright, I guess we're taking this. Shem's Burning Gaze, Earth Blood, and Spirit Leech. All the spells here are really good, so, yeah. How's our mana? Our mana's full, so we should probably grab more spell work. I'm gonna say non-overcast harmonic convergence. And 2 points into Vissen's wild form to be able to overcast.
Let's hear it.
Lots of casting available at least. Anyway, we gotta sync this or else our convoys are gonna be in danger, and I've also realized that I'm starting to do things out of order again, but it is what it is. We'll just have to deal. Ashok the Blood, and you're gonna run! Unfortunately for you, with Mad's map upon our army.
In defense of Ulthuan.
We can move pretty darn far. All right. Nice little sort of warm-up for these guys before they are worthy of joining Teclis's army. Go.
Asuryan wills it.
Alrighty, here we go. Well, Asuryan wills some of it, as in Mathlands here too. We got Sea Elementals and Phoenixes working together, after all. And here we go, we got Ashok the Bloody, another one of these rogue fleets, and we have to clear it out to make our, make our convoys be able to travel safer through the enemy. We're going to advance with the watery units to take advantage of their aquatic trait through the watery part of the map, while our Phoenixes get ready to irritate the enemy infantry, dropping those wakes of fire, which we've been using since the very start of the campaign so effectively, and moving along the enemy lines as we do. Partly to use it before use most of us before the battle starts, and partly since the enemy wants to wait for us to come to it, since it wants to take advantage of its artillery pieces, why not punish them for it? And there we go. Solid 50%, 60% damage to about 5 of the enemy units. And in the meantime, the enemy artillery, we are hiding from them by advancing the units of Swords Masters through the trees. As soon as they clear the tree line, we summon the Eagle using the Eagle Sanctuary, and then drop the Eagles as well as all 4 units of Phoenixes and down on the enemy artillery below. Quickly, the first of the enemy artillery crews are routed. We'll move to the second until both artillery are out, but by the looks of it, we're safe to go past the trees and rush those Swords Masters and the Lore Master that leads them towards Ashok's host. In the meantime, the enemy that tried to get around us, primarily the fast movers, Boar Boys and Wolf Riders, are getting absolutely obliterated by the Sea Elemental and the Oceanians, or at the very least are trapped in their current location. The damage isn't all that crazy from these guys, but, well, the enemy isn't going to be able to do anything. And here we go, with them all tied up dealing with the Oceanids. Our Swords Masters have arrived and begin cutting down Orc Boys and Boar Boys alike without any issue, sending them to flight rather rapidly. Fortunately, we got more Swords Masters plus the Lore Master in here somewhere, and they will do the same, with, of course, the Phoenix of Blunder helping out to lead them. That'll be a nice warm-up for these guys, this half-stack that is traveling to Teclis. Although admittedly they don't really need the XP since we recruited them at or near 2 max XP. Well, yeah, rank 7 by the looks of it. But hey, the Swords Masters spend so many years in mastering their art, it makes sense that they actually start with plenty of veterancy. Alright, and by the looks of it, the enemy army is pretty much done for. Some of the Swords Masters seem to be having a little bit of a difficult time drawing their blades, but I think they're just being blocked out by one unit as they're trying to attack another, as most of the enemy army here is attempting to flee. There we go. I was trying to find the Lore Master in here, and I'm sure he is in here somewhere, but good luck. He kind of fades into all the Swords Masters. Anyway, only the Trolls remain, which is actually surprising as their leadership tends to be among the worst. But it looks like they will rout, though as to for how long remains to be seen. They still have about 80% of their ammunition. It's not like we have, or HP rather, and it's not like we have a lot of anti-large in this particular army. Huh, actually that reminds me, we're gonna have to try to figure out what we want to do for anti-large in Teclis's army. Though I suppose on the other hand, the Phoenixes can just mob any unit that is needed, and we will have Spirit Leech on the various Lore Masters with Teclis. Anyway, to make sure that we get those trolls out of there that teensy bit quicker, we pop off Visen's Wild Form, buffing up the armor, but that doesn't matter, and the armor-piercing damage that we have, or just general damage. And there we go. Phoenixes hover overhead as the Sea Elementals run down the last of the units. Ashok the Bloody shatters, and with him, the last of his force goes, and our convoys are safe for another day. Alright, there we go. Lovely. And we got the Bane Shield, which will actually come in very handy in a specific army. I'm actually hoping that we can get a couple more of these, just for the missile block chance, as I want this for the ship's companies, and not for you, though, Adminatus. Anyway, lovely little battle. The enemy army was frankly doomed the moment they decided to wait for us to come to them, and allowing us to drop the wakes of fire upon them from the phoenixes, which basically crippled their melee infantry. And though admittedly the swords masters would have cut them down either way. For slave, nah, we'll heal up anyway. Like so. And since these guys got their debut, you can unvein shield yourself, sir. We can name these guys. All right, let's do the swords masters, and let's do the phoenixes as well. What do we have for swords masters here? So you will be Teclis's Blade Guard. You will be Protectors of Arcane. And you will be Swords of Hoeth. Like so. As for the birdies, we got Bernie Sanders. We've got Angry Fried Chicken. Like so. We've got Luna, and we've got, oh well. There we go. All right, good enough. You can then keep on heading down to Teclis Town, like so. Kairos will be gone by then, but all good. I hope so, anyway. Anyway, ooh, Arathon, no. You are also supposed to meet up with Teclis, and I was wondering where to put the... What did I do with the other noble? The Lord. Oh, that was this guy. Right? The healer. Oh, right. I was wondering whether to put you with Teclis. Nah, Teclis should have more of these guys. The ones that have exhilarated. So you would be better off in another army. Therefore, I'm going to either give you to Annalise or somebody else. Leave the army for now, and I will think about it. Perhaps the Mistmage alone is not enough. And we may need additional magic damage, which would mean getting rid of another one of the Silver and Guard. Or again, we could cut down on the Laudon Skycutters. I will think about it. Plus the magical damage would be quite... Oh, actually, oh. Huh. The Exalted Silver and Guard have magical damage. That is indeed quite valuable. Quite valuable indeed. Alright, I will continue thinking about it, but the Lore Master isn't quite as necessary there with them having magical damage available to them, though the dampen effect that they have would enable us to do more magical damage. So, yeah. Anyway, let's delete you guys, because there's no need for you. And I guess Adminatus can either stay here or maybe be at the Star Tower. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna say stay here for now. Also, Star Tower while I have you. Let's build the promenade. Annalise, let's have you travel this way for now. I may change my mind. You know what? Grab that shipwreck. Who knows? Maybe there's something good in it. You can stay here, Edmund. And oh, you know what? I should have. Wait.
Returning to shore.
While we have the construction. Yes, I'm nickel and diming, but what can you do? You will have the plaza, and let's go for the Elven Gardens. We need noble capacity and mage capacity and all hero capacity, basically, pretty desperately. Ooh, after the fight, we should have another blurb. Unicorn Gate. Is this the last of the gates that we did not do? The Unicorn Gate guards the longest and most treacherous of the mountain passes. As a result, it has seen less conflict than its sister fortresses. Even the most determined of Dark Elf attackers see little purpose in breaching the Unicorn Gate simply to fight their way through the harpy and cockatrice-haunted ravines that lie beyond. For all this, the garrison of the Unicorn Gate are no less tested than those of other strongholds, for they are under constant attack by the denizens of the very pass they guard. Thus have their archers earned a reputation for quick eyes and wits. After all, walls are of little defense against winged adversaries, and once a harpy is within spear's length, the battle's outcome is already in doubt. It is for this reason that the Unicorn Gate underwent substantial modification during the reign of Belkor Hadris, adding several dozen outrigger towers from which keen-eyed archers could scour the walls in the event of a harpy attack. Harpies sound surprisingly organized. Anyway, I believe we still have a few moves to make and buildings to build. So Admin and Theus, you are now good where you are. Admin Electra, you were I was thinking, alright, you were going to recruit some stuff, and I guess we could just leave you in Hexgate for now. Actually, you know what? Travel to Grief, where it's a green territory, I think. Technically speaking, it won't affect global recruitment, but Sarah will have to return here anyway, as the Dark Elves here are almost destroyed, so, yeah. Guardian, okay, Guardian doesn't need to move, Zbaran has moved, Guardian doesn't need to move, Admin Avalorosas. You were going to deliver some extra troops to somebody, although, by the looks of it, it's, well, I mean, I guess in theory you could deliver some of them to Eataine just to keep leveling. Frankly, we've been floating around with all of you guys for a while now, and I'm not entirely sure you're needed. You know what? Hale and Hearty, you are going to go and fight with the Everqueen. And I'm going to say just land in Mistnar. Just stay where you are. I may deliver these to somebody, but I think it's better to just not waste time continuing to move you around constantly, in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, let's try to find you in the list here. I believe, there you are. Teclis, you, my friend, are going to proceed to, I guess, here. Heal up to max, and then go to Fate Weaver's Crevasse next turn. You guys will follow Teclis. Like so. And, oh, you're the one that got spawnified. Okay, obviously this, I still don't understand what the AI does this. Disband, for obvious reasons. Oh, you can't follow because they will auto-ambush you. Well, you're supposed to get your own army anyway because you're an ardent princess with that lovely range and upkeep reduction, so I guess you can go here. I could also, in theory, use you to deliver these things while we wait for your army, so that also makes sense. Anyway, that was Teclis.
Hoef's chosen.
Whoso is after Teclis. Admin Ware and you, yes, both of you in theory. I'm going to proceed to Dracula Spire. Admin Fea will reinforce. Nangarond is nearly wiped out. Oh, this is going to make us fight this again, isn't it? Oh, but it is a field battle, isn't it? Unless I'm mistaken, it should be. Pyrrhic victory. Yep. The army, the Autoresolve is not going to like this chariot army, but admittedly, it has been really fun in this army. I love, in this campaign, I love and feel that we've really been getting a lot of very different feeling armies, you know? Like, the functionality of all the armies is completely different from each other, especially certain armies. Like, Erathon's Eagle and Air army feels nothing like Tyrion's sort of almost generalist type army, though, yeah, the White Lion army is obviously completely different. The Chariot and Eagle Claws army completely different. It's been very fun. But anyway, we'll fight this on the field, yes? Yeah. Oh, huh, interesting. Got a little, like, a pass in the center that isn't wooded. And it's actually a kind of interesting map. I feel like there was a quest battle on this map, though I could be mistaken. Either way, go. Huh. No speech from the princess, apparently. Well, I'll make the speech. Here we go. We have a pretty interesting battle up ahead of us, I think, just by virtue of the fact that we have a pretty darn interesting map. Lots of forest, lots of, well, this little road, winding little road in the middle of the map, and the sort of bits of impassable terrain, the plateaus, or cliff sides, whatever you want to call these, around here. This, frankly, whoever designed this road made it in a place that looks ripe for an ambush, as I can just imagine beastmen running out from every direction there. Anyway, since the enemy decided to hide in the forest and wait for us, we took the opportunity to set up all of our bolt throwers, waiting for the enemy's arrival. Though it does look like we do get hit with one of the enemy's bolt throwers, which manages to actually get a shot out of those forests and into one of our chariots, although without bringing them down. Anyway, chariots are going to start with a nice little drive-by, as we have spotted an enemy unit of Dark Riders there, and the fragile light cavalry really can't do anything here. They could try to charge the chariots, but, well, Dark Riders versus piles of chariots, the Dark Riders would get killed. even against Tyrannok chariots, which are decent enough for this to work. And the only unfortunate thing is, yeah, look at that. 8 units of chariots, all of them fire at 1 horseman. And I've complained about this in the past, but I find it ridiculous that units have a tendency to behave this way. Light cavalry and ranged chariots both have this tendency. Like, they should really be sort of spreading their arrows out amongst the unit, rather than somehow magically, psychically targeting a single unit within the enemy line. And yes, I have done so before, and you know this will not be the first time or the last that I complain about that behavior. I hope we don't see it in 40k. It would be bizarre and unfortunate, but I guess we'll see. Ooh, here we go though. This I find extremely entertaining. The Eagle Claw bolt throwers begin raining those bolts down on the enemy as soon as they show themselves outside the cover of that forest. Some of them flee immediately back into cover. And admittedly, the trees will block off a lot of shots, but it's not like we don't have bolts to spare. That's a real scary sight to advance towards, I gotta say. And this is why we parked our artillery here, where we have this nice, clean firing lane to move to work to fire at the enemy through. And ooh, looks like their single Reaper bolt thrower will want to move to try to do a little bit of counter battery fire, but we target it and obliterate it pretty much instantly, not even bothering to switch to single shot fire, as we just have so many bolts it isn't necessary. And the relative inaccuracy works in our favor here, as it hits any other nearby units. Smartly, however, it looks like some of the AIs are moving from the AI units are moving from forest to forest, using this side for cover as well. And ooh, we did hide some dryads in the forest, and it looks like the enemy tries to get a unit of Dark Riders around them. Fortunately for us, we do have the Frostguard Phoenix there to slow them down to a mere 44 movement speed. And going after the Lothern Sea Guard with light cavalry, generally speaking, is not going to work well, even if the Dryads and the Treekin weren't here to tear you to shreds. And there we go. This unit of Dark Riders, like the previous one, is pretty much done for. The enemy has reached about, or gone about half the distance towards our Eagle Claw bolt throwers. But the fire will continue. Oh, though it does look like some of the enemy is beginning to fire back with their Dark Shards or Shades or whatever they have there, but it looks of it Shades in this particular question, or case rather. And the enemy that moved through the tree line over on the right flank is closing the distance. So we activate the Eagle's Sanctuary and summon more Eagles upon the enemy. Wait, no, this is not a summoned unit. Yes, it is a summoned unit. Yes. Alrighty, activate the Eagle's Sanctuary, summon the Eagles upon them, and send the Frostheart Phoenix in to help. Gotta tie up those Dark Shards to prevent them from firing at those crews. And it looks like, ooh, the enemy moves in with their lord, who actually gets pin-cushioned and executed by the handmaiden rather quickly. Not even once again any need to switch to a single-shot fire and have the artillery do the work. In the meantime, of course, our chariots have been irritating the enemy army, rear charging them and just generally laying down a little bit of fire. We've separated all the chariots as much as possible, and generally similar to battles past, you want to separate the chariots so that they don't move too much together, so that they don't all fire into the same units from the same angle, and thus don't waste too much of their arrow fire. Though admittedly, they are good at sniping single entities, there weren't too many of them, other than the one in this particular army, so no real need to worry about it. Either way with that, the Dark Elf host is broken, and even as they run, the Eagle Claw bolt throwers will continue throwing their bolts their way. Lovely. Some interesting battles in this particular episode, I gotta say. Alrighty, there we go. Ooh, a Tormentor Sword. That is actually a very viable option for this particular army, eh? Not for you, obviously, admin, or either of the admins, but Very viable indeed. Alright, well, happy to see that. Either way, the enemy army got annihilated with 8 losses, and I believe those were some of the artillery crew, unless I'm mistaken. Nobody else had died. Yeah, looks like some damage out of the Dark Shards and the Shades that flanked us. At the end of the day, the auto-resolve is its own meta. It doesn't like this particular army, but this army can and will mess you up, so good job to this army. Anyway, decisive victory, we will occupy the place. Again, I'm not sure that we actually care about this location or any of these locations, but, well, these guys have to die, so, you know, do what you gotta do. Real Lost Splendor for now, is that a Mage Tower? It is indeed a Mage Tower, can keep hold of that. Let's get the Manor, Drekla Spire. You don't need either of those things, though. Admin Freya. We need to get close enough to Drekla Spire, so go here to attack it next turn, or Rothgar Spire, rather. And, it's actually got some watchtowers on the way. It'll be able to upgrade to Dark Tower, but the help of Sarah should be more than enough, I think, to auto-resolve what remains here. This faction is basically done for. Actually, if Kateb could attack Chimerica Spire as well, that would be just so... Kateb, why are you so chatty? This is why Cetra banished you. Anyway, you two, Wheels of Fortune and Tyrion Chariots. You will become Exalted Tyrannok Chariots. Since now we have capacity for 2 more, it's about time that we get them on field. There we go. And that's what I wanted. 4 Exalted, 4 Unexalted. Lovely. And I wanted to make one of these Eagle Club Bolt Throwers an Exalted one as well. Like so. We had the capacity for 1, unless I'm mistaken. We could do 3 and 3 as well if we really wanted to. Just to double check. Exalted, we are at... Do we have another capacity for them? Or do we not? Yes, we do. Alright, fine, let's do 3 then. Like so, and with this army, well, that's actually not complete. It's almost complete. The one thing it's missing is the reason that we have this 1 gate guard in this army, partly to provide the bolstered marksmanship, but then eventually, when you're an exalted gate guard, to provide the bolstered command as well. Though frankly, in this particular army, the bolstered command isn't actually of any real use. So frankly, if we really wanted to, we could keep the exalted gate guard in other armies. I'll think about it. Okay, it's not super necessary. I'm not actually sure that these guys actually need the additional... Well, actually, no, the buff from the bolstered marksmanship alone is actually fairly decent, and it's at 60 effect range, which is pretty big. Anyway, the army is mostly complete, let's say. So that was Admin Feya. Who is after Feya? You know who's after Feya? A blurb is after Feya. Let's do a blurb in a second. Who is Erethal? Oh, right, you are supposed to join Corhill to provide magical damage for his army, and who is Gandalfa? You are crushing, you were supposed to join... Oh, should have had you move into this army before... Yeah.
I stand with you. This is
Really? Really? You're gonna get in each other's way like a bunch of idiots?
protection is yours.
Alright, you, Gandalfa, go into this army, crushing, and also this army. Heralds of the Wind, Delirian Reavers with bows. Lovely. Alright, and then we will have room for a few other cavalry things. Frankly, with all the Exalted Illyrian Reaver archers, we could actually do potentially 2 cavalry armies. One a little bit more melee focused, and the other one do all range cav. Combine this with Sky Cutters and as artillery support, because that way it's artillery for a cavalry army, which you should probably frankly do anyway. And then use Wood Elf Cav with the other range Cav. That would provide us with poison from Glade Riders and then toxic venom from... Where are we here? Oh, why can we see... Huh. Wait. Before I did this, it went all the way to the bottom, but now it's... Okay, now it's fixed, apparently. Alright, fine. Yeah, and then Toxic Venom from the Sisters of the Thorn, which again are amazing. We could even put Hawk Riders in there as well if we wanted to, though I didn't want to overdo the Hawk Riders since we're already doing some of the Erathon, but maybe not a lot. I will think about it. If we have time, I would like to potentially split them into 2, because they would function completely differently from each other. Cycle charging versus leading the enemy around, and it's not like we technically have a range cav-focused army right now at all. Although admittedly the Tyrannok Chariot army it does bear some similarities to it. I will continue thinking about it, at least for now. Anyway, you're good as you are. Let's do a blurb, then building, then turn ending. What do we have here? Let's see, we did Marienburg, we did Unicorn Gate. Sisters of Avalorn. There are regions of Avalorn that the citizen levies are forbidden to enter. Some are sacred places of power, intrinsically linked with the rites of renewal by which the Everqueen helps sustain Ulthuan and its people. Others are dark and dangerous, places from which the touch of chaos never truly faded. It is the duty of the Sisters of Avalorn to watch over such places, to ensure that the sacred lands remain sacrosanct, and that the beasts who dwell in the tainted reaches stray not, or are swiftly slain if they do. Sisters of Avalorn are keen-eyed archers, elf maids chosen from the ranks of the citizen levy by the Everqueen's personal decree. By tradition, only the most gifted are welcome into the Sisters of Avalorn, for just as the Everqueen embodies all that is ideal and unblemished in the elven race, so too must her chosen guardians, not only in mind and body, but also in pursuit of the spiritual. Such measures serve to raise the warriors of the Maiden Guard above the petty intrigues that often pervade the Everqueen's court, ensuring that they remain incorruptible. The Sisters of Avalorn prefer to fight their battles at range, as their weapons do not fire ordinary arrows, but mystical bolts of white-blue flame that set tainted flesh afire. Yet the sisters shirk not from close-quarters battle, for no battlefield peril can overcome one who walks the dark paths of Avalorn. Against the charging knights, rampaging demons, or an entire coterie of Khainite assassins with cruel murder in their hearts, the warrior maids stand their ground. With precise aim and steady hearts, they loose arrows until the foe is full upon them, and then draw their swords and step into the fray. Spears. Anyway, Maiden Guard, I guess, swords. Anyway. We also have... oh, wow, that's... well, okay, yeah, it makes sense that dragons have a long blurb. Hawk Riders are Wood Elves, so we will ignore. Our Tech Thieves got wounded. We also got the Fireborn and the Heralds of the Wind. Actually, a fair bit. Anyway, let's do building. Marches of Kuhan. We got the Harbor. We got the Elven Fairground. And I'm going to say we got to grow the place, so Homestead for you. Although I am actually tempted to get another noble capacity. What's our nobles at, by the way? 12 out of 14. Not too bad. Ugh. No good ones here, which is irksome. Admittedly, though, if we get a bunch of extra noble capacity, we could use it for additional influence, which will come in very handy. I'll think about it. For now, we'll do this, and then if we can replace, if we need to, we can replace. All right, keep building the defenses in all these locations. Wow, still, really? Still takes 4 turns in a yellow settlement. Oh, I guess, huh? Really? So minus 50 is what we got out of our tech. So it should be at 0%, but then Rebuild Lost Splendor should reduce the construction time by 1. So you're telling me these are normally 5 turns? Seems like a lot, but anyway. Maybe that makes sense. Grand Repository, yes, more mage capacity. And technically speaking, most of this stuff will be deleted out of this territory, but that will be eventually and not now. And hey, we got the Phoenix upgrade soon. Good. Tyrannoc. A yes to the harbor, a yes to the Elven Fairground, and... actually, how the Charioteers doesn't actually do too much for us right now. Ooh, experience for units faction-wide. Yes, please, to the gold mine. River Brienne. Well, let's do these. Max out the die maker at Marienburg, and we can wait for Fort Solace for next turn, because it'll reduce the time. Harbor and Estate. And Mousillon. And I guess we can build the Elven Craftsman. The place will never generate too much money, but what do you expect out of Mousillon, I suppose? We'll build the tower and stuff here. I don't know that we'll keep it, but all good. Maybe build the Elven Fairgrounds here for now. Not the worst idea to have some extra territory that we just use for capacities of stuff. Chimarania, you know what? Actually, no. It's expensive. It's expensive and we're going to trade it away, so it doesn't really matter. Temple of Adeath, we are still fortifying these environs, so similarly I don't expect them to generate a lot of money, so we'll do the Elven Gardens here, I guess. And then if later on we want to redo it, then, well, we will. Yeah, we can upgrade these. They might be worth our time in terms of trading. Don't care about Caves of Fire. Arguelon, we are similarly going to trade Phoenix Gate. 6.8k, I'm not paying that. Lorelorn Forest, yes we are upgrading you for sure. Iron Mountains, we have Racto Gorge and Hexgate. Again, it's a yellow territory that probably will never generate too much money, but capacities are valuable to us. Let's do that. And you can actually collect the money. Gisoro Geb, Fort Bergbus, probably no real reason to actually upgrade you ever. Estalia. We will upgrade Magritta. We don't technically have... Well, yeah, we have use for the iron mining. I, once again, might trade it away to these guys, but it depends. It depends how the rest of the... well, how the rest of this goes. Next up, we have to pick a tech. And it's none of these as yet. We can do Eastern trade contracts. Resources produced will give us a little bit more money. We will soon start pumping out a little bit more in the way of mereworms and dragons and stuff, since we are getting our first tier 5 settlement. That's a lot of speed for chariots and... No, we'll do that next after the Eastern trade contracts, I think. Admittedly, the other option would be to try to get towards martial law and the upkeep reduction fast as we can go, which would also be good, plus the range for all units. Almost tempted to say that's more valuable right now than the trade. You know, let's do broadhead arrows, and next turn we will most likely get an heir of Anarian, so we'll go Shield of Civilization. Admittedly not the most useful thing in the world, but we have to get it to get to White Tower Scrying anyway. Although I might ignore it and just go for martial offers, but anyway. That is good for now. More blurbs. Or, you know what, we've done a lot of blurbs in this particular episode. I think maybe we're probably we're out of time, and I'll call it here. We'll start next episode with a blurb about the dragons, and then whatever small blurbs, like the tiny blurb about the Fireborn and whatnot. Which, again, being Dragon Princess... Wait, we already read the Fireborn blurb. Ha! Anyway, we'll do the Dragon blurb at the start of next episode, and then we'll end the turn, and then proceed to more fighting. Hopefully, like at the Fate Weaver's Crevasse. I don't imagine that Karis will be back by then, but if we destroy them, and hopefully sick the Ghost of Pawash upon the Slaneshi, they can help move out here. Also, how are you guys doing? Liking each other a little bit more. They're both now at war with the Bloody Hands, so maybe they can deal with them. I do wonder what'll happen between Arcan and the Court of Libaras there. Should be pretty interesting. And anyway, next episode, I believe we will be able to, well, most likely recruit most of Alariel's army.
What orders?
Not all of it, because these guys still have to be delivered, but they can sort of meet up in the north as Alariel sort of sails away, especially now that she's no longer needed here, since Lothern will be upgraded to tier 5. Ooh, and we'll get access to our final units, like the Exalted White Lions, Exalted Silver Helms, Exalted Gate Guard, and Exalted Athilmar Chariots, which incidentally have perfect vigor and recovery, which are going to make them very nasty in this particular army. I'm actually excited to see the degree to which they... we can actually upgrade to them if we wanted to, but anyway, excited to see how strong they are, essentially. Oh, and these guys do have Strider already. Well, that's nice. That's very nice. I mean, well, we can use banners that give them speed without necessarily needing to rely on banners that give them Strider, which we can then save for others. But anyway, more Tyrion to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine how long this campaign continues to run for. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.